Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Hopefully this is the last video in this build, but man, we got a lot of work to do. So I haven't glued up the legs yet, just in case I have to play with those mortises a little bit, and it doesn't take long to glue those up. So let's get going on these stretchers. There's the picture again, and you'll see we got a tenon to make that fits those mortises, and it's at the bottom of the stretcher, and that's more because of the arch than anything else. So that's where that's going to live. So I'm going to set up the dado stack and the table saw and set the fence and start sneaking up on those mortises. At this stage, everything is designated to a particular table. So when it fits those mortises, that's when I'll glue up those legs. Okay, so I dialed in the dado stack to fit the mortises. That's really good. I'm going to go ahead and cut these, the both ends, and then I'll readjust the height and test until it fits the vertical. Okay, I've got the height of the dado stack dialed in to fit that mortise a little snug. I may have to clean it up a little bit with the shoulder plane or a block plane a little bit, but I'd rather have it a little bit too tight than too loose. So we'll go ahead and get these cleaned up and start looking at a dry fit. Well, there's the initial dry fit. It actually fit really well. I had to tap it on just a little bit. So it's snug enough I'll be able to clean up those tenons nicely. I'm gonna go ahead next and start marking out for where the wedges go. So there's what we're looking at for the wedges. So I'm gonna set up in the drill press and hog that out there. And then I'll have to come back and clean that up with chisels. So here's what I've set out to hog out the angles on those wedges. I have the stop block tilt so that the angle's always right. And I'll move the fence forward, but I left it set up like this so you could see how the angle's gonna work out. And it should drive me right into that original hole. And then we can come back and hog out the middle, and I'll clamp it down each time. And I should be able to repeat and just switch this end for end and come up with identical wedges on both sides. Well, the wife decided she wanted walnut for the wedges, so I had to fiddle with those for a little while to get them to fit right. Nothing a little block plane didn't take care of. So, but there's the dry fit. So now I'm going to take it back apart and get the curves in that rail. All right, well, I goofed up. So I noticed it when I was laying out this curve in the bottom, that when I cut the notches for the tusks, I did them on the wrong side. So there's two choices. I can remake this piece all together, which the piece turned out great. I'm happy with the piece. Or you can do what I did and chat with the wife and see if she's okay with that, which fortunately she was. So I think that this is going to sit close enough to the tabletop that you're not going to really see that anyway, but you might see this bottom curve. So the bottom curves are going in, and I'll just break the edges on the top and we're going to roll with it. So I'm going to get these legs glued up tonight, and then I've got some epoxy drying on some of the other parts, so I'll get after those tomorrow. But But yeah, we should be just about moving on to tops. So I think tops are next, and we'll get going on those. Okay, I'm using epoxy for these glue ups, just because it gives me a little bit more open time, and it fills any small gaps that I just might have. Well, there I finally got both tables caught up to the same point. It did take me longer than I had anticipated, but that is what it is. So this video is running a little bit long. I'm going to go ahead and pull these apart and do all the little detail sanding and scraping and all that good stuff where I had epoxy squeeze out and all the final sanding up to about 180. When we get going on the next one, we'll start on the finish. We'll get the slab tops finished up and hopefully get these into their final home. So until then, guys, take care.